I share with you, the CEO may want to keep the conflict at a certain level because the conflict may encourage the organization to have more ideas to make it better. Okay, so you may have to know, you have to be aware of the conflicts you're having in the organization, especially if you work in the human resources department, where you have to manage your employee mindset, manage what they want to do, make sure that they are working towards your goal. And if you want to manage it, reduce it, and resolve the conflicts, make sure that you are aware of it. I know that a lot of CEOs still don't know what is happening out there between the employees and themselves. They don't know what the employees think and feel. So the relations are very, very unclear to some CEO. If you're a CEO or if you are the human resources director and you are not aware of what conflicts the employees are having or what caused the employees' dissatisfaction, then I'm not sure you can work in labor relations department. Okay? For people who work in labor relations department, they really have to understand their employees. They know what each and every employee wants and needs. And so if you read the employee's mindset, you may be able to work in labor relations department, because when you understand them, you know what caused the conflict, you can manage the conflict, you can reduce it, and you can resolve it, make it go away. And for an employer, I work in the management of an organization. Obviously, I try to understand my employees, but I don't want them to fight against me. Understand what I mean? So one thing that I want to do is to make sure that all the conflicts are resolved. Because when employees are not happy, they don't work well. Okay? They don't bring you back what you want. And the trouble become higher. It creates or it damage your employees, your organization a little bit more significantly. So please be aware of that. So you understand the reason why we have to study this course now? It's very important in human resources management, right? If you don't know how to manage the relation between your employees and the management board, then it would create a lot of difficulties. But these are the purpose. I have to share with you on the purpose. What I would like to focus on here is the mechanism, this word. Does anybody have already understood what it means and you would like to share with the class? We know the purpose of labor relation is to help us clarify, manage, reduce, and then resolve the conflicts by creating the mechanisms. So what does it mean, mechanisms? Yeah. The system, very good, I like that word. The system is also a part of a mechanism. You build up a system that help you to manage the conflict. Very good. Anything else about the words mechanisms? So talking about labor relations, which way or which method that we normally think will be used to control or to govern labor relations? That is the word mechanism we're talking about. System is one perspective. Any other? You know what part of it is very important to contribute to managing labor relation is under the form of documents, paper like this. So what is it called? I'll put your idea here then. System. One more thing. Some more mechanisms that procedures. Very good. Okay, I put all the things that you think can and can't say here. Procedures, method. Everybody's doing very good. Please come up with more way. I need you to understand the word mechanisms. Or something that you have told me before then. Policy, yes. Okay. Yeah. Contract. I really like the words you have mentioned, but I need you to put this word into a bigger group, you know. This, the word contract actually represent all of the legal documents that actually govern and control labor relations. So overall we call it legal documents. And can you give me, because you say contract, Wenan, so I need everybody here to think about more, come up with more examples of the legal documents besides the contract. You know, contract is a legal document that it govern and, you know, manage the relations between the employer and the employee, right? Any other legal documents that also influence on labor relations? The laws, very good. Can you specify it? Laws and regulations, very good. In Vietnam, it could be the institutional laws. Very good. It's very big for labor relation. Can you come up to something more specific, you know? The laws here could include what we call labor law or labor code. Very good. Or the laws that are regulating the labor operation, the union operation at the moment, we call it the trade union laws. Very good. Trade union law, labor code. And one of our assignments also give you one form of legal document that also manage or, you know, govern labor relation. What is it called? Very important document that you are going to, you know, revise it, form it. Yes, you speak Vietnamese perfect. Thank you very much, Vietnam. What do you call it in English? Labor contract is not really, you need one more word here. Labor contract is only formalized between one employee and the employer. But here, you're saying thỏa ước lao động tập thể, and neither word means tập thể here. What is it? What is it? Something agreement, yes. But agreement is still just a contract. Collective, yes, thank you very much. It's collective agreement. Collective agreement. Collective agreements. It's also a legal document that governs the relations between the union and the employer. Okay? And why do we call it collective? I'll be talking about that when we go to collective behavior. But yes, these are legal documents. Can you mention them again? Contracts, labor code, trade union law, every other regulations about compensation, benefits, employees' working environment, yeah, and collective agreements. So these are legal documents that is also a form of mechanisms that I need you to understand here, and we are going to learn about all of these. Okay, there are also employees' handbook. Have you ever heard of it before? Employees' handbook. This is also an example of mechanisms that the management use to manage their relations with the employees, with the unions. So we'll talk about it later, but I just want to make sure that you understand what mechanism means and specify them. Specifies mechanisms. Okay? Now, let's talk about contracts, because you mentioned contract is a very important legal document that we have to learn about right at the beginning. I mean today. So I'll give you 2 minutes to think about what contract means, even though you have already got it on your lecture notes, right? You can give examples, you can specify it, or you can simply repeat what I have already given you in the lecture notes, which I actually don't prefer you to do. If you can explain what contract means to everybody here, anything would be appreciated. Oh, any ideas? What it means, or what it looks like, or some of the conditions or articles that are included in the contract? Anyone would like to share with your class? Or have you ever signed a contract with a company before? Have you ever signed a contract? Anybody please raise your hand if you have already signed a contract with any company before. Great, come. So I have somebody to share with you on what a contract look like. Can you share with the class here, please, Ken, on what your contracts actually, what topic the contract cover? Hmm? Salary? The basic salary?
And some cái điều khoản mà mình
Articles. Terms and articles, yeah. Some terms and articles that related to working environment and basic salary you have mentioned, working environment. And finally, what does it mean when you sign the labor contract, the contract that you have shared with us? What does it mean when you sign?
that I agree on the article in this contract.
Mm-hmm. And it's not only you who signed a contract, right? Who else also signed a contract? The director, or the manager, or the employer, or the representative of the employee